Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing really well, and today we're going to be looking at 3 things that you might have missed in the song Gravedigger by Architects. Now, just before I go into this, I've already put a cover out for this song, so if you want to see me play it up to speed, that's there on my channel. If you just click below, probably the next video back from this one, I'll play the whole thing front to back for you all. So yeah, I've seen this song played quite a few different ways, and I've also seen like tabs online and stuff, which just have missed the mark for me, I guess, and that's why I sort of wanted to do this video. I want to do the cover and I want to do the song justice. So before I go into all that and the 3 things that I want to talk about and show you guys today, I want to talk about my source material, because it's all very well and good me voicing my opinions on here saying, well, this is how they play it and everyone else is wrong. You know, that's just not good enough. So rather than sticking the videos actually in this video and getting copyrighted to hell, and maybe getting a block or whatever, I've put together where all my source materials come from for this one, and I'll be referencing it right the way through this video, so you'll be able to go and check those videos out and see for yourself. The videos that I'm referencing are the live Ukraine show. So if you just type in Gravedigger Live on YouTube, that's one of the ones that comes up. Also, the live Rockplast show as well, I'm referencing that one. I'm also using the Making of the Lost Forever Lost Together album little documentary that they did. It's about 30 minutes long, and there's just a little clip of the band sat together and Tom playing the main riff to Gravedigger while they were writing that. So I've referenced that one as well. And also, lastly, I've referenced the Tom Searle Boss ME80 pedal video. He did a video demonstrating the Boss pedal board where you got loads of sounds and effects and stuff. And he plays a couple of things in there that really helped me out in deciphering this song, I guess you could say. So if you want to reference those videos, I mean, I'll be referencing them right the way through this, but if you want to check it out for yourself just to see if I'm right, please feel free to go and do that. Also, what I will say is, especially with some of the stuff, it's been a nightmare to work out from the live concerts. I've had to like slow things down to like 7.75 speed, even like 0.25 speed, to actually see what was going on, because you know what it's like watching live concerts, trying to see what people are doing. It'll just get to the part that you want to see, and like the camera will just switch to something else, like the drummer or something like that. So I've put a lot of time and effort into watching the live videos and referencing the actual track and slowing the track down. If anybody's seen my lessons on here before, that's what I do. I spend loads of time just slowing the track down on YouTube. Yeah, you can slow it right down in the wheel down the bottom. You can slow the track speed down so it sounds really slow. And you can actually hear each individual note being played. With this song, it's a little bit tricky because it is tuned so low, so it's a little bit tricky to hear precisely what's going on, especially with the live concerts as well, because everything is just going by probably a little bit faster than the actual track itself, because everybody plays stuff faster live, right? So like I said, I've done my best to go back and forth to spend about a week alongside doing my my cover. I was putting this together at the same time, so I spent a week on this thing trying to get this as accurate as possible for you guys. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the guitar tuning for this one, okay? Now, a lot of Tom's tunings were based around the C-sharp standard guitar tuning, okay? And then he sort of like tampered with it from there. So a C-sharp standard tuning, what you'd have is a C-sharp, F-sharp, B, E, G-sharp, C-sharp, okay? And that goes all the way back to like Black Sabbath, tuning their guitars down on Master of Reality, okay? Those guys sort of like pioneered that low sort of tuning, and then everyone sort of followed suit, you know, because tuning lower automatically means heavier, right? And then that is actually what a drop B is based off of. So a drop B is actually a C-sharp standard tuning, and then you drop your 6th string down to a B, okay? Loads of bands have used that tuning, Slipknot, Stone Sour, loads of bands, okay? That's not low enough for Tom, apparently, on this album. So what he does is he matches the F sharp on the 5th string an octave down on the 6th string. Okay, so there's no 7 strings involved here. This is all 6 string tuning as well. So if you're on a 7 string, put that away. Get some heavy gauge strings on your 6th string. Okay, it's all on the 6th string, and he is matching the 2 F sharps on the bottom there, just an octave apart. Okay, and the thing that's where a lot of creativity has come from with Tom, because he's really playing off of the idea of having the 2 F sharps. I'm playing that riff poorly there because that's not actually it, but you get the idea. So there's 2 F sharps on the bottom. Okay, so that's a tuning that Tom used in this era. Okay, so you got F sharp, just not to have a part. B, E, G sharp, C sharp. Okay, that's pretty much it. Or is it? Right. For Gravedigger, this kind of bleeds into the second thing that I want to talk about, which is the chords and how the song's actually played. I don't know about you guys, if you've tried learning this song before or whatever, but I know I slammed my head against the wall for a long time, actually, trying to work out how those open chords on the intro go. Okay? Because for some reason, you can't get those notes to ring out. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. I will show you the actual chords for this section, but I just want to show you the thought process behind it first. So we've got this A minor shape, which is fine. But however, this note on the second string seems to be ringing out right the way through the whole thing. And that really confused me as to what he was doing with his fingers. I could get the first two chords. It's the last one. Now, unless you want to play it like that, which is a stretch, and I'm pulling on the strings so everything's going out of tune. That's just, I just thought to myself at the time, that's physically impossible. That is a nightmare. He has utilized that shape before, higher up the neck. But in order to get that and try and catch the open E string on top, which is now a C sharp, I guess, but the first string, okay? Yeah, it's just very difficult to do, okay? So, with a little bit of research, I wanted to start deciphering this. I looked into it, and I came across the Boss ME80 video, okay? And if you go and watch this, you're going to think I'm crazy, so you're going to want to watch this in order to see where I'm coming from, okay? The way I learned it, which was that, I knew the notes were right, but when I watched Tom play it, his fingers were completely different. Completely different. And on the live shows as well, if you see them playing it as well. So, you know, the source material's there for you guys, so go check those shows out and reference it, you know, but this is the best one because you've got a close in to see what he's actually doing. So that note there is constantly ringing out. And it's constantly ringing out throughout the songs on top of the dyads that he's playing as well. So I thought to myself, right, okay, well, if that's ringing out constantly, what if he just tuned that string up a half step, okay, in order to get that note to keep popping out with very minimum effort? Go watch the video. You will see exactly what I'm talking about now, which has led me to believe this. I figured out that Tom tunes the second string up by a half step, okay? So what was a G sharp is now an A, okay? So this note on the second string now, I've tuned it up a half step, okay? And now what I've got is an A rather than a G sharp, okay? And if you watch Tom's hands, these are the shapes that he's going to play, okay? So like I said, section 1 and section 2 of this video kind of mesh into one another, okay? But that video is what has guided me toward the tuning, because if you watch the position of his hands when he's playing those intro chords on that video, and if you listen to the track as well, you can hear this note. You can hear that note ringing out right the way through the entire song, okay? So it was that video that guided me toward thinking maybe that's what he does. So just to recap, our new tuning is F sharp, B, E, A, C sharp. And the chords that we're now going to learn are going to like back us up on this now, okay? So again, I'm going to reference the Boss ME80 video again. The shapes that he's playing for these intro chords, which, you know, it took me forever to work out until I figured out that he's playing this tuning. I watched his hands, and these are the shapes that he's playing. And as soon as I did that, with that string tuned up, it was like, got it. Yeah, because those are the shapes that he's doing. Yeah, on the video, it's just one of those moments where it's like, oh my God, like, you cheat. You know, I felt kind of like, you know, not that he was cheating or anything, but it was like, man, if you'd have just told us for this one, I just tuned this string up, that could have like saved so much time and effort. But yeah, if you watch his hands, this is what he's doing, okay? Okay, and those are the shapes that he's playing. So that again, like I said, section 1 and section 2, they kind of bleed into one another because it was the chords that kind of led me to discovering the tuning. But obviously I wanted to preface this video with the tuning first. Okay, so what chords have we got? So the first one that we're going to look at, this guy right here. So it's like an A minor, but you're going to take your first finger off. Looks like an A minor suspended, I guess you could say. Okay, so you've got your middle finger on and your third finger on, 2nd fret. And I have included chord diagrams for this as well to help you out. So you've got, that's your first chord right there. Then you're going to bring your first finger over to 3rd fret, 4th string, 3rd finger, where are we? 3rd string, 5th fret. Then you're going to put your pinky right underneath that, 2nd string, 5th fret, and you've got the open C sharp or 1st string, I guess you'd say now, ringing out underneath. And you're going from the open 5th string on all of these, okay? That's our pedal point. And then lastly, you've got this guy, which, like I said, you'd have to do the most horrendous stretch to get that. And not only would you have to stretch to get that note, you need the open string underneath that. So like to not only catch that note with your first finger, yeah, you'd have to arch your first finger as well to catch the open 1st string. So obviously he's come up with that riff and he's thought, well, that's just a nightmare to do. Why don't I tune that 2nd string up and have that note just there as open? So when he goes to this chord, he's not having to worry about stretching all the way down there and arching his first finger up to catch the open note underneath, okay? And you'll see how it works on the tab as well that I've included. So that last chord, I guess we've got 5th fret, 4th string, and then your middle finger is going to be doing 4th fret, 3rd string. Okay? So all together. Okay, and there's your intro chords. Those chords also pop up in the bridge section as well, when everything sort of like quiets down for a little bit. And they're just strums at that point. And just to reiterate, you know, the use of that open note, he's using that quite a lot. If you listen to the rest of the song, even in the rhythms, it's ringing out. Yeah? So if you listen closely, you'll hear it. He's constantly sort of putting that note in there. And because it's open, it's readily available for him to just pick it rather than trying to find it relative to where he's playing on the fretboard, okay? So there's the two things so far that I wanted to talk about. So the first thing is the tuning, just to reiterate. F sharp, B, E, A, C sharp with that open 2nd string. So we can get those big chords going. And those are the chords that he's playing. Like I said, watch the Boss video, okay, the Boss pedal board, and you'll see he's doing those exact finger positions, okay? So that's your intro chords. I've stuck it all in a tab for you as well as chord diagrams. So hopefully that's going to help you guys out as well. Just don't get too used to the tabs because I'm not very good with tabs, okay? A lot of my videos are done by ear, but because they were such short segments, I just thought I'd stick them in there for you guys as well, just to speed things up, I guess. So that now brings me to the third thing that I want to talk about, okay, which is the licks between the rhythms. So the licks between the rhythms on this one, I always thought that it was the same thing happening right the way through the song, okay? So it's those things that are happening in between the main sort of chugs and gallops and stuff like that, okay? So when I was doing my cover, I was kind of playing around with the idea of doing a little lesson video just on the tuning for this song and those intro chords. But then I realized that those little tail notes or those little fills or licks in between the main rhythms, they're not all the same. So that led me to thinking, oh, right, great, I've got another thing to talk about. And the tabs for this are just please, yeah. They're not right, if I may say so myself. And like I said, I can't just come on here and just say that, you know, because how self-absorbed must you be to go, well, I'm right and I know it all. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, yes, I'm a guitar teacher, and you know, I take a lot of pride in working things out by ear and trying to decipher what's really going on. But you got to back it up at the end of the day. So that's why I've sort of cited all my source material for this, and I'm just showing you where I'm actually getting this from, rather than just, I sat down and listened to the track and this is what I came up with. I spent a lot of time slowing the concert videos down and going back to the track and referencing the notes and stuff like that and trying to watch what was going on. Like I said, those concerts, it wasn't too easy to see, but there's a couple of little parts in there where the camera's just in the right position at the right time, which really helped me out with like finding where certain notes sat and stuff like that. So I've broken this down into 3 licks. So you've got lick number 1, okay? That's in the main riff, the main gallopy riff, okay? You've got lick number 2, which is sort of like the verse riff. And I actually came across 2 versions for that. So you'll see what's going on there and what I mean by that. And then you've got lick number 3, which is in the post-chorus breakdown with that big nasty chord that comes in, which is like best part of the song, hands down. Okay, so let's have a look at lick number 1. I was able to work this out by watching the making of Lost Forever Lost Together, little mini documentary that they did. You see the band all sat there together and they go into this riff, and Tom plays this riff. And you can see sort of, even though he's in the background, you'll see it if you go and watch it. Even though he's in the background, you can sort of see where his finger positions are when it comes to this. And that really helped me out in terms of figuring this out. So what have we got? Okay, Tom likes pedal points, and he likes these big stretchy sort of positions when he plays. Okay, and he likes to pedal off of the low 6 string quite a bit. Okay, and this is the lick he's playing, which is a lot easier than the absolute faff that's down here on the tabs. If you go and look at the tabs, it's a nightmare to play. Okay, but these are the notes he's playing. And you'll see it there on the tab. So in context, this is the riff that's... And then... that guy. It's the main riff. It's the first riff that you hear after all the clean guitar. Okay? So I have got it on the tab for you, but I'll show you how it goes, just to help you guys out. So it starts off with a pedal point on the 12th fret, okay, a 6th string, and he's stretching up to 17 with his pinky, okay? And the middle finger hits 14. I thought it was 15 for a long time, but after living with it for about a week and going back and forth over and over it, I'm pretty confident it is 14, okay? Like I said, you go reference the stuff yourself, you'll hear it. So you've got 12, 6th string, 4th string, 17, middle finger, 14, 5th string, okay? So, and then he's hitting the open A string after that, which I guess now is an F sharp, but the 5th string, you get me, okay? So you've got... Okay, after that, he hits 15. I kind of use my 3rd finger for that right there. Okay, and then what he does is he takes his 1st finger down, he changes the pedal tone. He did that a lot throughout his career. He loves to move... He likes to move the pedal note that he's pedaling off of, Kate keeps referring back to. Okay, he likes to move that round a lot to give the song a little bit more melody in this sea of just low, brutal riffs, okay? And that's what he's doing there. He's moving his pedal point from the 12th fret down to 10th fret, okay? And he's going to pick that twice. And then he's going to do 14 with his pinky on the 5th string, okay? Okay, so all in all, and I guess another point worth making as well, if you go and watch some of like the modern day Architect stuff with Josh playing, you'll see him playing sort of these stretched out shapes as well on the live concerts on YouTube as well. So yeah, there's just another little bit of evidence for you guys, or source material to refer to, okay? But that's lick number 1, okay? Okay, and that pops up twice in the song, okay? You've got that on what I like to call intro part 2, because intro part 1, I guess, is the open chords, all right? Intro part 2 is like the main riff, the main gallopy riff, I guess you could say. And that's your lick, and it pops up twice in the song. If you look at the diagram, I found it in intro part 2 in the main riff, and it's also on outro part 1 main riff. Okay, so it's basically the same riff that's happening there, but popping up twice. But structurally, that's where that lick sits. Okay, so that is lick number 1, and in context, that would be. Okay, so I'll play that nice and slow for you. Like I said, if you want to hear it up to speed, go watch my cover. Okay, but that's it. And then. Okay, so that is your lick number 1. Let's now have a look at lick number 2. That pops up twice. Okay, we have a look at the diagram again, the structure of the song. It turns up in verse number 1, and it turns up in outro part 2, which is the same riff as verse number 1, okay? So you can see where that sits. And I came across 2 versions of this, which was driving me nuts. Again, go reference the live concerts that I've cited in terms of the source material for this, okay? The Rockplast show and the Ukraine show. You'll see them doing these finger positions, but there was one note that I just couldn't work out because he's constantly playing off of the 2 F sharps. And sometimes when the notes are going by that fast, even when you've slowed it down, it can be weird. It's weird. Even though I've got a good ear for this thing, it can be weird in terms of trying to work out which octave it is. And I know that it should be quite apparent, but because the note is like, but, and then gone, it's like, hang on a minute, I know it's an F sharp, but which one is it? Is it this one? Or is it that one? Or is it that one? Or that one? Okay, so he's got 4 that he's sort of playing around with there, because you've got 12th fret, which is your octave up, so you've got 1, 2, F sharp, and then F sharp again on the open, okay? So, what do we have? So again, this is from verse part 1, okay? This is where the riff changes. It becomes a little bit more start-stop. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the lick that happens here goes something like this. The reason for that thing is you'll hear the notes bleeding into one another, plus on the show I saw him doing it as well, so rather than going, which would be a lot easier, but I think he wanted those notes to bleed into one another, so he's found that note next door, there. Okay, classic sort of half step discord kind of thing, okay? So this is how lick number 2 is going to go from verse part 1, okay? And that is going to be like this. Okay, so we follow the tab. We've got 12 on the 6th string, 15 on the 5th string. Then he goes 2 opens there on the studio track, okay? Or he could do it, this is where it got messy, he could be doing that note because it's the same note on the 12th fret. So you choose, but I found it a lot easier to go off the open. Either way, it's the same note and it is that note. Yeah, it's the same thing, just a bit of a difference in texture and timbre, I guess you could say. Okay, so you got 12, 15, open on the 5th string, or 12, 12. Then he's going up with his pinky to 17. And the 14 thing, same as lick number 1, I guess you could say. And he's got an open, 5th string. Then he does this. Pinky, 14, 1st finger, 10. So 5th string, 14, 1st finger, 4th string, 10th. You get that, okay? So that's... Okay? And you'll hear those notes bleeding into one another, especially if you slow it down. Like I said, it could have been a lot easier for him to do it that way, but he likes the clash of notes, okay? And that chord pops up in the post-chorus breakdown as well, so it's kind of a little nod toward that as well. Plus, if you go and watch those concerts, you'll see both the guys doing it that way as well. You'll see Tom playing it that way. Okay, so in context, that would be... Okay? And that is your lick number 2 for the studio track. Live, I caught the other guitar player doing this. I'm not sure if it was Josh at the time or somebody else. You guys tell me in the comments. Can't quite remember, but the other guy was playing with him. He's actually catching that 12th, that open note that I talked about where it could be on the 12th fret, or the open, after the 12-15. Yeah? He's actually catching that. And I'm pretty sure Tom is as well on that performance. He's actually catching that on 12th fret, 5th string. So instead of going, he's going. I cross-referenced that to the studio track and it just didn't sound the same. The studio track sounds like it's open, or the low 12 and the 6th string. So live, you'd have those two notes as this, which is 12th fret, 5th string. So you'd have... Oops. There we go. Okay, so that's how they're pulling that off live, which made my job an absolute nightmare trying to work it out when I was going back and forth between the two things, the studio track and the live performance. So there you go. So there's that. Me, I kind of just stuck to the studio track, which is a lot easier. You can really hear those two clashing if you slow it down, which is really cool. And it's a little bit like when he wrote this song, like when he came up with the idea for the main riff. When he was playing with it, he was sticking all these different things in between, you know, these, he was sticking all these like licks in between, and I don't know, it's like rather than sticking to one, he was like, I'm going to write 3 different ones that I like and stick them out throughout the song rather than doing the same thing. So it's quite cool rather than just, for instance, having that one, you know, which could have easily done, having that one popping up right the way through the song. There's variations on it, which makes it trickier to learn, but a lot more interesting, at least to my ears anyway. Okay, so that is your lick number 2, and that is from verse 1, part 1, and outro part 2. It's exactly the same riff, and you'll see where it is on the diagram, okay? So lastly, we're going to look at lick number 3, okay, and that pops up only once in this song. It turns up on the post-chorus breakdown, okay, so that great big sort of, I don't know, is it a breakdown, a post-chorus breakdown, that sort of thing, but with that big nasty chord in the middle. Best part of the song, like I said, it's my favorite part of the song. And again, there's a variation on the lick that he sticks in between the notes, okay? So let's have a look at what this one is. So we've got... Okay, so what's going on there? You're going to have 12th fret, okay? Again, that's his pedal point. That's where he's starting the licks from. This is datum line, okay? So he does 2 12s here. I listened to it. It was like the last thing that I discovered in this song, just when I was double checking everything before I put everything together and started filming. He puts 2 12s there, okay, on the 6th string. Then he's going 14 on the 4th string, pinky comes up to 15, 14, 15. So it's, and it goes back to 14 again. So it's, okay, then he hits an open 5th string, and then 12, 14. So first finger 10, and then 10, 14, a little bit like earlier. So they are all similar, which again has made it a nightmare to work out because they are so similar in places. And you think to yourself, oh, can I just get away with playing the same thing? But no. You know, you're going to do a disservice to the song and a disservice to yourself, or myself in that case, yeah? The licks are all very different, okay? So you got that 10 and 14 to finish up there. Okay, so you've got... Okay? And that's that lick. So in context, I guess it would be coming into the post-chorus breakdown, if you like. You'd have and then it pops up again. So when I said it only pops up once in the song, I meant just in this section. This section only pops up once, so sorry if I misled you there. It comes around again a second time. Okay, so that's where that sits. Then it comes around again. And that's it. So that is your lick number 3 on your post-chorus breakdown. So it's played twice in the song, but that section is only once. And you'll see where everything sits in the diagram that I made for you guys. So there are 3 things that you may have missed in the song Gravedigger by Architects. I'm 99% certain this is what Tom wrote, okay, and what he played live, and what the guys continue to play when they play this song now. So forgive me if things are a little bit out of place, you know, by like a note or something like that. Like I said, it is very difficult to figure out when you've got 4 F sharps floating around that he's pedaling off of and sticking in as like open notes or fretted notes. Like that thing. I just played that riff 2 different ways, twice, but it was over in a flash, trying to decipher whether that is that or that. That's where the works come in on this one. So, like I said, I've spent a lot of time trying to decipher what's going on. But I hope you learned something today. I hope this has helped. Just the 3 takeaways from today to recap. So number 1, the tuning. So we can play those open chords and the rest of the song, because that open note is popping up quite a lot right the way through the entire song. So if you've ever wondered why you're playing it and your guitar doesn't sound as big, that's because he is putting that note in. He's putting that in quite a bit, okay? So that's point number 1, the tuning. Just to recap, low to high, F sharp, B, E, A. That's the 2nd string, C sharp, okay? And to my knowledge, he's not used that tuning for any of the songs, but you guys let me know if he did. So point number 2 would be the intro chords, okay? So they're all there for you. I've broke those down for you. And they're what kind of guided me into figuring out what the actual tuning for this song is. Okay, so those are your chords. So I've broke that down for you. And then lastly, it's the 3 licks that happen in between the main big chuggy riffs right the way through the song. You've got 3 of them. You've got one that pops up in the main riff itself. You've got another one that pops up in the verse riff. and then you got another one that pops up in the post-chorus breakdown. And if you refer to the diagram, the tabs and the sections on this video, you'll see precisely where they sit, and you'll see precisely how you can put them in yourself, okay? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you're new here, consider liking the video, please, and consider subscribing. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And thank you so much if you've made it this far into the video. It means a hell of a lot. Come follow me on Instagram, listen to the podcast, all that good stuff. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Cheers.